Kia ora, and welcome to Thursday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news the relief is palpable in financial markets. First up today, we can report that the American CPI inflation rate came in at 2.9% in December, almost exactly as expected, and shrugging off some market fears of an upside to those expectations. The monthly change came in at 0.2% and also as expected. The annual core rate came in at 3.2% and a tick less than expected. Still, these levels are 9-month highs, but markets have ignored that fact. There were no real surprises in any of the detail, and this triggered a relief rally across equity, bond and currency markets. They are hoping an interest rate cut by the Fed is back on the agenda. But there was a big surprise in home loan activity during the week in the US, building on growing interest rate fears. Mortgage applications surged by a third last week from the previous week and erasing the declines in application volumes from the 4 prior weeks. This was the largest increase in weekly applications since 2020. And the surge occurred despite benchmark interest rates pushing through the 7% threshold. Potential house buyers attempted to lock in borrowing ahead of fears that interest rates will rise even further. Applications to refinance a mortgage, which are more sensitive to short-term changes in interest rates, soared by 43% from the week earlier. But still, applications for loans to purchase a house rose by 27% themselves. These are enormous moves. And there was also a large surprise in the New York Empire State Factory Survey, and a negative one. It was the result of a set of small shifts in all components, none of them by themselves worrisome, but together they shifted the overall index. However, firms there don't think this month's result will last. But it isn't holding back their big banks. Overnight, the first 3 of them, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs, announced fourth quarter earnings, and they were bumper. In Japan, some central bank remarks from its governor are raising the possibility that they might raise their policy interest rates at their next meeting next week on Friday, January the 24th. The current policy rate is 0.25%. His remarks indicated he liked the current round of sharp wage increases in Japan. In Indonesia, their central bank unexpectedly cut its benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points to 5.75% during its overnight meeting. Markets had expected no change. The regulator said it moved to ensure their exchange rate and related inflation rate stayed within targets. In Europe, November industrial production data released overnight showed a small 0.1% rise from October, but they're still left at 1.7% lower than year-ago levels. And there was inflation data out of Russia overnight too, and their war economy is becoming increasingly unbalanced. They now have a CPI of 9.5%, a falling ruble, and a central bank cutting rates on Moscow's orders when they know this is the wrong thing to do. The imbalances will only worsen. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.66% and down 15 basis points from this time yesterday. And the price of gold will start today at $2,687 an ounce and up $16 from yesterday. And oil prices are up $1.50. It's $79 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is just over $81 a barrel now. And the Kiwi dollar starts today at just on 56.1 US cents and up 10 basis points from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we're down 20 basis points at 90.3 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're up 20 basis points at 54.6 euro cents. But that all means our trade-weighted index starts today just on 67 and unchanged from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $99,057 and up another 3.7% from yesterday. Volatility of the past 24 hours has been moderate at plus or minus 2.2%. You can find links to the articles mentioned today in our show notes, and you can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.